Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new thrifting haul right here on Night Owl Video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed and commented and given me the thumbs up lately. I really appreciate your support. Today is a pretty hefty haul because it's been building up over a couple of weeks and I went to a couple places I don't normally go, so I ended up finding some really cool stuff, including a horror movie Holy Grail physical media item. So stick around to the end because you'll be seeing what I found. And let me tell you, I was pretty excited. That was almost 3 weeks ago that I found that. I've attempted to make a couple of videos and just not been really happy with them for whatever reason. I attempted a cycling. I attempted to combine cycling with movies last week, and I did some filming, but I'm just not quite there yet. So thought I'd just do an old-fashioned thrifting haul like I have been doing for the last 3 years. First up, though, it's garbage day. Yeah, it's spring cleanup here where I live, and let me tell you, I was driving down the old highway a couple weeks ago, and this Wally was sitting on the side of the road, just sitting there with a bunch of garbage. And of course, anyone who knows me well knows that Wally's one of my favorite characters of all time, animated characters. And I have a smaller one, and I have a Pez dispenser with Wally on it. But when I saw this bad boy right here, he was just sitting on the side of the road. He looked so sad with the garbage. It was almost like recreating the movie. Had to stop and at least check it out to see what was going on. He's dirty. He's somebody loved him very much. And along with him at the end of the driveway were all of these Fisher-Price figures. This one came with a chair. And then I put this one it came with a little rocking horse, which is like just adorable. These, like, for people who grew up in the 70s, these were my toys. I had Fisher-Price toys, and I had a little Sesame Street play set, which I think was also Fisher-Price, if I'm not mistaken. So they were inside this like play set, like a house, which looked like it was from the 1960s, but all the stickers were worn off the side and everything. It was beyond salvaging, but I did grab the characters. I put one in Wally's hand just to pretend, like, imagine if Wally was like a giant monster robot thing. But yeah, I thought they were too cool to pass on. Better on my shelf than in the trash heap at the dump. So some of them are very worn away. This one, obviously, the face is completely worn off, but these are really old. Like, the bodies are wooden. I'm going to guess the newer ones, probably the bodies are plastic, but these ones are made out of wood. This guy or girl has no face at all. So anyway, it's garbage day. So before I get to the movies, quick other things I got. I found this yesterday for $2.99. Marvin Gay, Tammy Terrell. You're All I Need. It's a little bit beat up. Not bad. I think this must have come from a collector's house because when I took it out of the jacket, it's in one of these really nice protective sleeves, which I probably should ramp up my collection and get my records in those, but my guess is somebody bought this for their collection and maybe found a nicer copy and then just traded or gave this one to the charity shop. So for $2.99, I played it this morning with my coffee, and beautiful. I love me some 60s Motown. Always loved Marvin Gay. Like I said in previous videos, I got into Motown around the late 90s. And I went full force into it. And so ever since then, I've just always had a soft spot for Motown, and I pick them up here and there where I can. And the other thing I got, which is not a movie, but it is movie related, is Page Boy, Elliot Page's memoir. Hello. Elliot Paige, a fellow Nova Scotian. Well, he was born in Nova Scotia, but probably lives somewhere else now, I'm guessing. But Found this at Value Village for $6, I think. It's in just pristine condition. There was a bunch of trans related books at the Value Village, so I passed on most of them. This one, though, I was on the hunt for, just because Elliot Paige rules and is also a fellow Nova Scotian. So how could I pass? So I'll be looking forward to reading that one. I have so many books to read. Kim Gordon. I've got the Geddy Lee autobiography, Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino, Laura Jane Grace's biography. Like, I've got so many books on my nightstand to read, so I'm gonna be busy. First thing up, movie-wise, I got this VHS, Them, the sci-fi classic of the atomic age. Now, I had this on DVD a couple years ago. I think I might have actually done a review of this on my channel or talked about it. Not a great movie, but the VHS was really nice shape. And I just, for a couple bucks, I was like, yeah, I'll add that to my collection. And then the other VHS I got was King Kong Lives, which I think I also did a review of this. Not a great movie. I have it on DVD, but I had to add it to my VHS collection. It's cool looking. This is Linda Hamilton. I think this was her first movie, maybe, or one of her early ones. I can't remember now. Now I'm second guessing myself, but yeah, not a good movie, but so bad it's good, so bad it's so. I don't know, but anyway, add it to the collection. Up next, I've been eyeing this for about 5 years in a showcase at one of my local thrift stores or comic book shops. This is Escape from LA, Kurt Russell, John Carpenter's follow-up to Escape from New York. I mean, he did other movies between, but this is, I guess, in that series or in that world. Yeah, I got this for $4.99. It's factory sealed. It's never been opened. Again, not a great movie, but I didn't have it in my collection. This has been in that showcase for like 5 years, and every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, someday I'll grab that. Or maybe I'll find it for $2 somewhere, and I'll just get it then. But anyway, I had some store credit, as some of you know, and so I decided to add that to my collection. Another thing I'm not super into, because I didn't grow up on it, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the third movie. I think this is probably the least liked in the trilogy of the original movies. But I had recently watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the new animated movie from a year or two ago, and I actually kind of liked it. I love the animation style, and it got me sort of feeling, although I'm not nostalgic for this because I didn't grow up on it, but just kind of wanted to dive back into these movies just for fun. It's a guilty pleasure, I guess. These two I got at a different charity shop, which is owned by the SPCA, and so the funds go to support the SPCA. And I was with my niece this day, hanging out with her. Sometimes I take her thrifting with me. I don't think she really understands where I'm taking her, to all these junky stores, but well, not junky, but used goods. Long story short, we found a couple of DVDs that were in really nice condition. Basically, I'll point out a movie and she'll say that one. I don't know. I think she would say that one if I held up like Cannibal Corpse live and something or other. But anyway, she was so cute looking at these movies at the store with me. They were $1 each. I don't know why I'm having to defend myself, but Sleeping Beauty. This is the 2-disc special edition set. These ones were well taken care of by whoever owned these. These are movies, I'm going to be honest, this is a bit of a blind spot for me. Old Disney movies, I don't really, except for like Lady and the Tramp. Jungle Book was one of my early favorites because I had the vinyl record when I was a kid, the storybook. But yeah, these were, this one was in really nice shape. So I decided to grab it for $1. I mean, like I said, whoever owned these took very good care of them. And so I added that one. And then I also added Alice in Wonderland. And guys, I don't know if you can see, but these things are just like like just unwrapped, basically. They're in just minty mint, beautiful condition. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever watched either of these Disney movies, which is, I guess, is a blind spot for me. I wasn't a big Disney kid. I mean, I knew I have more in my collection now just because I've added them over time, like the Ichabod Crane one, which I grew up on, Lady and the Tramp, Pete's Dragon, I think. Well, I don't actually have that in my collection, but that was the first movie I ever saw in the movie theater as a kid. So I probably should add that to the collection. This is Alice in Wonderland. It's also a 2-disc masterpiece edition. And what's crazy about this one is it has like a Wonderland card game inside, and it's never been taken apart, but it comes with like this little card game with like all the characters and stuff. I mean, this thing is just, like I said, somebody obviously loved these. I hope they upgraded them to Blu-ray or something. I hope they didn't just switch to Disney Plus, because that would suck. But yeah, happy to have these in my collection. I will watch these with my niece at some point and give you my thoughts on them. The next bundle is from a shop I went to in a town called Middleton, which is a town I spent a year or two of my life when I was younger. I found this really cool little bookshop, and I've passed by it a bunch of times, but this time I noticed on the sign it said movies. So I went in. Very nice chap that works in there. And most of it was very sun-faded. The movies are all in a front window of the shop, so it gets all the direct sunlight. All the movies were quite sun-faded, but I managed to find a few that I thought, for a couple of bucks, I'll add to my collection. This is Best in Show, directed by Christopher Guest, written by Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy, starring Jane Lynch, Eugene Levy, Michael McKean, Catherine O'Hara, Parker Posey, Fred Willard. If you've never seen this movie, it's kind of like Spinal Tap and what was it? Breaking with the Wind or something. They had a bunch of these kind of cult comedies in the 90s. This one's quite funny. It's about dog show people, dog breeders. It's quite funny. Eugene Levy, as I recall, has 2 left feet, literally. Oh, it says from the director of Waiting for Guffman, which is another really funny one. But I was at my local library a couple weeks ago. I took my niece to story time, and one of the librarians and myself got talking about dogs and dog shows, and then she said, "Oh, I saw this movie Best in Show, and it's like a little light bulb." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember really liking that movie." So for a couple bucks, I added that to my collection. Trees Lounge is another one. I don't know if I've ever watched this, or it's definitely from my younger days when I was in my 20s. This was 1990. I think this was 96. Yeah, so I was 26 when this came out. This is written and directed by Steve Buscemi. I don't really remember much about this movie, to be honest. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it had... Did the singer Hayden have a song on this soundtrack or something? Or am I imagining that? I don't know. But yeah, I do love Steve Buscemi, so decided to add that to the collection for a couple bucks. This has Steve Buscemi, Chloe Sevigny. I can never pronounce that person's name. Carol Kane, Daniel Baldwin. Special appearances by Samuel L. Jackson, Seymour Cassel, and Debbie Mazar. So yeah, I'm going to check that one out at some point. It says, the tagline is a story about one man's search for who knows what. Very poignant. I also got this one at that same bookshop. This is Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey and Frank Whaley. I remember watching this on cable back in the 90s and thinking it was really good. In fact, I remember recording this on a VHS tape off of cable. This one's a little sun-faded. The spine is really bad. You can't actually hardly even see it, but it's got a weird slipcover on it, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. I don't remember much about this movie. I think it's something about maybe Frank Whaley works in the business world as like a clerk, and then I think Kevin Spacey's like the main boss or something. I can't remember. This is called the Special Edition You Schmuck. So I think, yeah, it might be about Hollywood too or something. I really don't remember. But I do remember liking this movie. And for a couple bucks, I decided, you know what? I'll rewatch it. The fellow that runs the bookshop said a lot of people in that town, which is a very small town, they'll come in and buy these for a couple bucks, watch them, trade them back in, and get some credit and take another bundle. So kind of, I don't know. Not a great selection of movies, but like quite a bit of like TV series that I wouldn't really watch, I don't think. Like, I'm trying to think of what they would have been, like Ghost Whisperer or like, you know, cooking shows or things like that. I did get one TV set from that place. Sorry, I'm just peeling off these little stickers that are on the tops of DVDs. I hate those stickers. This movie I've never seen. It's called Northern Soul. For any of you who are fans of early British music scenes, Northern Soul was one of those, I believe. Or I don't believe, but I know. But it was I think it came after Mods, maybe after Reggae Skinhead. It was like, or it was maybe around that time. A lot of young white British kids into, and probably some black kids as well, into soul music. And they had this whole like late night dancing craziness. It says before there was Coachella, underground DJ inspired a movement with Northern Soul. John Clark introduced the feverish energy of American soul, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, young kids in Britain, I believe, kind of, you know, just being kids really, and dancing to music late at night, having a good time. And I'm curious about this. I've never heard of it. It's from 2014. It's written and directed by Elaine Constantine. So there's a lot of movies out there, you notice, that just never really got the attention they deserved, and they just kind of went under the radar. Music ones seem to be that way, like 24-Hour Party People or Control or movies like that. They just sort of fly under the radar, and it's only like cult movie people that seem to find them. But anyway, so shout out to that store. I think it's called Blue Heron, if I'm not mistaken, bookstore. Shout out to them. And then the last thing I got at that store was Knight Rider, the complete series on DVD. This is a Mill Creek set. When I was 12 or 13, loved the Hoff, loved the cars especially, and this is, it says shift into high gear with all 4 seasons of Knight Rider. Not crazy about the packaging, as I will show you. It's these little cardboard envelopes, and on each side is a disc slid in. Cardboard tends to, of course, scratch the surface of DVDs. I checked every single one of these before I paid for it. It was like $6 or $8, I think. $6 or $8, not 68. But yeah, I was talking to this person at the bookstore. I said, for that price, I'll grab it, because if it sucks, well, it's not a big loss. I know sometimes you see these at like Value Village and places, and they're like in the glass showcase because they're fancy, and they're like got $25 price tags on them. I'm not paying that much, but $6, sure, why not? It'll be some entertainment on a rainy summer afternoon, maybe. Yeah, I used to love Knight Rider, which is it was a Kit Knight Industries talking transport or something. I don't remember. His car was called Kit, and he could call it on his wristwatch, and the car would meet up with him. So yeah, and then the bad one was, I remember the bad one. The bad car was called Car, Karr, and it stood for Night Automated Roving Robot. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but yeah, love me some Knight Rider. Was definitely one of my favorites when I was a kid. Will it hold up? This is the conversation I was having with this bookshop owner. Was like, Dukes of Hazzard, I tried to rewatch in my 20s. I thought it was god awful, even though I loved it when I was a kid. just a lot of those shows. The only ones that really held up for me quite well were like Battlestar Galactica with Lauren Green and Starsky and Hutch. I loved from the 70s, but a lot of them just didn't weather that well. The next one I got this yesterday actually. This is a Harrison Ford 4-pack. I do own The Fugitive, but I don't own Presumed Innocent, Firewall, or Mosquito Coast. These ones definitely were video store rentals for me when I was a kid. And Firewall I watched a couple years ago with my mom because I like making her watch thrillers to see how she reacts. She does not like the thrillers, but she does love Harrison Ford, much like I do. So, yeah, I grabbed this for $5. You know, so that's like $1 and a bit for each movie. Like I said, I do have The Fugitive, but I have not seen these ones for a long time, like probably since they came out. But this one, A Mosquito Coast, was definitely one I rented multiple times at the video store when I was a teenager. Of course, I was a Star Wars and Indiana Jones kid, so anything with Harrison Ford was an instant watch for me. I do remember loving those movies. Presumed Innocent, I don't remember much about that one. I think it's like a crime drama or something. I can't remember what that story was about, but I know, of course, I was also a Blade Runner kid, so I called my mom the other day just to chat, and I said, I got us a Harrison Ford 4-pack, so we'll probably watch Presumed Innocent and maybe Mosquito Coast. I think she would like those. We've already seen Firewall and The Fugitive, so. This thing I found for $2, and I don't know if this was priced wrong at the store I picked it up at, but this is the 2004 Star Wars DVD box set. This was a big deal when this came out. I took the day off from work when this was about to be dropped. Got my partner to drive me to Walmart that day, and I grabbed this exact box. I paid a lot more than $2 for it. But yeah, now this is my second copy of this. I'm a bit weird with Star Wars. I own a lot of Star Wars stuff and physical media. I got rid of a lot of my toy collection years ago when I was downsizing, but for $2 I grabbed this just as a backup copy, or I might sell it. I don't know. We'll see. But this was a big deal when I was, 34 when this came out. These are the special editions, so it's got the crappy extra stuff in it, but when you went from watching the VHS tapes that I had gotten for Christmas 1990 to going to DVD, it was like night and day. So, you know, luckily Lucas didn't screw too much with Empire Strikes Back, and it's still pretty watchable. And so this is a pretty nice edition. For $1.99, I was like, okay. This has the bonus disc in it has a documentary on it, which is called, which I always forget what it's called, Empire of Dreams. So this, as far as I know, Star Wars nerds out there can correct me, but for a long time, this was the only way you could see that documentary, other than watching it illegally on the internet, of course. But yeah, for $2, why not? My other copy is actually at my mom and sister's house, so I figured I'll have a copy at each place, and that way, I don't know about you, but they're comfort movies for me for sure, the original trilogy. And when I'm not feeling well or I'm just feeling down, pop some Star Wars on, I always feel a little better. So now I've got a copy of it at both of the places that I inhabit at time to time, so there. It's like Cinema Sickness has like a house collection, and now he's starting a van collection with movies in his van. So it's kind of like that. An extended collection, if you will. Kind of crazy. Yeah, physical media collectors, we are a little nutty sometimes, but... so then I'm saving the best for last. First up, I got Halloween on 4K. Got this for $10, which I thought was a pretty good deal. Look at that nice shiny foil cover. The hype sticker, Halloween 40. So this must have come out in 2018. Yeah, I only have this movie on DVD as of buying this one. So for $10, I decided to add the 4K to my collection. One of my favorite horror movies, and probably a lot of you guys. Yeah, had to add it to the collection. This has the Blu-ray and the 4K inside. Not great artwork on the discs, but hey. Yeah, like I said, I think I have part 2 and 3 on Blu-ray and part 5. But the rest I only have on DVD or VHS. So when I can come across these, of course, I'd like to find the Halloween box set, but that's a unicorn at this point. So this sort of thrift store I went to, one of the vendors had like awesome stuff. I picked up I think this is my first Vestron of the newer line anyway. This is the Dentist Collection, Dentist 1 and the Dentist 2. I'm not a big fan of the Dentist. I'm getting more comfortable with the Dentist as I get older and taking better care of my teeth. But when I was a kid and a teenager, of course, in the 70s, dentists were, no offense to those people, but they weren't that great. They weren't that nice to kids. And so I just had this long-lasting fear of going to the dentist. And so I've never seen these movies, so I'm a little trepidatious about popping this into the player. It could be very nightmare-inducing for me. I don't know. But yeah, for a couple bucks, grab that one. And then I picked up Dario Argento's Deep Red, an Arrow release. This one was 20 bucks, but it's in really nice condition. And where I live, guys, you never see any of this kind of cool stuff. So when I see it, I pretty much just grab it. Even though I'm not a huge, like, Giallo person. I like some of them, but I think this one's a Giallo, if I'm not mistaken. But this is, yeah, I don't know anything about this movie. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, but I'm just trying to see if this has anything else on it. Yeah, okay. So it says, aided by a throbbing score from regular Argento collaborators Goblin, Deep Red, aka Profundo Rosso, and The Hatchet Murders, is a hallucinatory fever dream of a giallo, punctuated by some of the most astonishing set pieces the subgenre has to offer. So I will check this out. Yep. And then the final thing I got, which is the Holy Grail, guys. I know you've been waiting all this time. You've been waiting 27 minutes to see what I got. A couple weeks ago, I went biking down the road from me. Stopped into a record store, Taz Records in Halifax. Shout out to Taz, who's been there for a long time. And they now carry movies and boutique Blu-rays and things like that. And sometimes they have some really nice, previously enjoyed films. And I looked up on the shelf and thought I figured I'd find this eventually, but I'd probably pay like a fortune. I paid a little over $40 for this, but it's probably worth that or more. And that is, drumroll please, the Anchor Bay Dawn of the Dead 2004 Ultimate Edition chunky box DVD set. Yeah, the clerk at the record store knew I was very happy when I saw this. It was actually like all of the DVDs, the sort of more collectible ones were along the shelf standing up. This one was laying down, but because I've been looking at these bloody fonts on DVDs for so long now, I was like, is that what I think it is? So this person got out the ladder, climbed up, got it down from the shelf, and lo and behold, it was the Dawn of the Dead big box set. This thing is beautiful. Again, somebody who owned this loved this. I'll try to show you everything. It's a very big set. It's almost not as bad as the Alien quadrilogy, but it folds out quite far. Yes, there's still more. So this thing is beautiful. It has the US theatrical release, the extended version, the European version, and a whole disc of documentaries. Plus, inside comes with some paperwork. So we have the Dawn of the Dead booklet. This has some notes about the movies, the chapter list, of course. It comes with this little booklet as well, which has, this is kind of a little guidebook to each disc. So the European edition, I think, was we were just talking about him, Dario Argento. So for European audiences, he did an edit of the movie. I believe that's how it went. You extreme horror nerds can correct me if I'm wrong. This was the paper that came on the back when it was wrapped in the shrink wrap. So it shows you everything that's inside and all the specs and everything like that. And then it came with this little comic book. Yeah, really cool. So it's got some artwork inside. I won't go through the whole thing, but you can see there. This is part of the movie, and I think it says on the back maybe continued in the Dawn of the Dead trade paperback. So yeah, so you could order the trade paperback. Back in those days for $17.99, I'm sure it's like $179 now, but the last word in horror, Anchor Bay, yo. So yeah, whenever I can come across these things, of course, I grabbed the Nightmare on Elm Street DVD box set a couple weeks ago, which I was very happy to add to the collection. But this one has definitely been on my radar for a couple of years. I do have an Anchor Bay DVD, but it's not. It's just like the basic DVD, the one disc. So I was very happy to add this to the collection. I'm definitely going to be digging into this and watching the different versions, and maybe I'll do like a little review, a more in-depth review of this box set. But guys, this was the holy grail for me. I won't say where I found it, but I did recently see the Friday the 13th Scream Factory Blu-ray box set. I don't have the funds to grab it because they want $150 for it. So I'm waiting for my next paycheck, and then I'm going to see if it's still where I know it is, and maybe I'll grab it. But I love adding these really nice sets to my collection because I think now my collection's pretty thorough for me as far as like what I want to have in my collection. So it's just adding these little things here and there. Now it's not like I'm not missing like big, I got Aliens, I got Nightmare on Elm Street, I got Evil Deads, I've got the Omen box set, I've got the Sleepaway Camp box set. So, and then, you get to a point in your collection where you're like, what else do I need? And then it's just finding these kind of like, these one-offs, like this kind of thing where it's like, I've never seen this movie. I don't know if it's going to be good or if I'm going to like it. I mean, I'm sure it's good, but am I going to like it? Am I going to keep it in my collection? So I'm getting to that point, but this one was definitely one I wanted to add to my collection. So awesome find there. Guys, that's it for today. Oh yeah, I meant to tell you this thing had batteries in it and it's still, well, I think if I put some new batteries in him, maybe he'll do some other things, but isn't he cute? I saved Wally from the actual dustbin. But yeah, super cute. So shout out to whoever threw him out, and shame on you for throwing away such cuteness. But that's it for today. Let me know in the comments below if any of those movies float your boat, or if there's any in there that you have that you love, or maybe there's some things there that you're looking for in your collection. Let me know. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all I got. It's a rainy day today. I'm about to leave for work pretty soon. So thought I'd just throw this quick together. I did do a cycling video. I filmed holding the handlebar and with one hand and holding the camera with the other. It turned out so-so. I'd like to get like a rig, maybe like a camera that goes on my helmet, and I'm going to do a second channel, which will be cycling coming down the road. No pun intended. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching to the end. Shout out again to everybody who's watched my videos lately and giving me some love. I appreciate your support. And that's it. If you haven't subscribed already and you like movies, physical media, thrifting hauls, movie reviews, things like that, consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. I'm not on social media anymore. I quit Facebook and I quit Instagram because, well, if you're still on those platforms, I don't know why, because, there's plenty of pictures with Mark Zuckerberg standing beside you-know-who. I'm not going to go down that road. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of your friends and your family. Support your friends and family who are part of underrepresented and groups that are at risk of being targeted by these mean people. And take care of trans kids and queer kids and everybody, support your local shops if you're a Canadian. Elbows up, baby. Listen to Rush and take good care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.